Welcome back to Leadership with Darrell W. Gunter. This is where we explore the ideas, principles, practices to help leaders create a meaningful and lasting impact. Today's guest is the internationally recognized leader expert, Dr. Sam Adeyemi. Dr. Sam has spent more than 25 years coaching executives, entrepreneurs, and organizational leaders across the globe. More than 52,000 leaders have graduated from the Daystar Leadership Academy, and nearly 4 million professionals follow his leadership insights through social media. He is the author of the best-selling book, Dear Leader, and his latest book, Shifts: 6 Steps to Transform Your Mindset and Elevate Your Leadership. Dr. Sam, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me on the program.
Very impressive statistics. So let's talk about the leadership journey.
Right.
So every leader has defining moments. Tell us about your leadership journey and what experiences most shape your philosophy of leadership.
Thank you very much. I'll, I'll start from the point where I got the consciousness
Mhm.
of being a leader. I was given a book by a reverend minister in my church. He said, "There's something about you. Read this book."
Mhm.
And the book, this was some 36 years ago,
Okay. Hmm.
right? The book was titled, or is titled, Learning Christian Leadership
Mm.
by Donald S. Altman.
Hmm.
And the book was already an old book as at 36 years ago. Anyway, I read through the book, and the author said, look, we need to rethink leadership, that for a long time, people have believed that a few people are born to lead, everybody else is born to follow. He
Hmm.
said, even the great philosophers, some of the great philosophers taught uh, those ideas. He said, but those ideas are dead. If you are a believer in the Bible and you read there that God created man in his own image and gave him dominion, then you've got to believe that everybody has some leadership potential.
Yes.
Then the author listed the qualities of a leader and said, whoever you are reading this, you will realize you have some of these qualities already.
Hmm.
And the ones you don't have, you can actually develop. And honestly, the author was speaking to me
Hmm.
because when I was very young, I did not think I was leadership material at all because I am introverted.
Hmm.
So I felt that the people who are expressive, the people who make friends easily,
Right.
who communicate so freely, they are the ones that are born to lead. So if you asked someone to volunteer to lead a group that I was in, I would be the last person to volunteer.
Hmm.
Reading that book was a
Hmm.
big mind shift for me. Like I could not run away from the fact, okay, I have leadership qualities, right? And the ones that I did not have, oh, I could cultivate,
Hmm.
right? I made them my personal development goals.
Hmm.
Of course, as an introvert, one of the areas where I felt like I really needed to improve was in communication,
Oh.
right?
Mm.
So I began to look for ways to improve my communication. Then I came across the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by
Dale
Dale
Carnegie.
Carnegie.
Yes.
Oh my God, I was underlining almost every sentence, right? How to start a conversation. That was part of my problems. I don't like to do small talk. Now, how do you have build conversations with people just discussing the big problems of this world? You've got to be able to do some small talk about the weather and the
Yeah.
economy and politics, right? Ask people about their families, where they come from, the schools that they went to, and all that. I learned all of that through that book. So, so this was a defining moment for my leadership journey, getting to believe, or in
Mm.
fact, know that I have leadership potential, that I can develop it.
Yes.
And fast forward, I studied to be a civil engineer. My
Mm-hmm.
dad was a building contractor, so it was in the family.
Mm-hmm.
However, I was made youth pastor in my church at
Ah,
the time that I was a site engineer on a construction site.
okay.
I did better with the youth pastor job, okay? To the extent people were coming to see me on the construction site for counseling. So I knew it was time. There was a position that opened up in church, and I knew it was time to exit. I just went. The gifts were showing more strongly on the church side of the job. And then along the line, I got the inspiration to start a broadcast on radio
Okay.
as to teach basic success principles. Now,
Yes.
this was in Africa, right?
Uh-huh.
So I did not realize how much people needed what I had to say. In my own desperation to find the basic principles for success, I didn't realize millions of other people were also in the same position. The moment I started the broadcast, it was boom. It was really famous in Nigeria. But eventually I found out at the highest level of success,
Mm-hmm.
you empower other people to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw this huge gap, leadership gap in Africa, all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I then did my master's degree in leadership and then did my doctor of strategic leadership in leadership. In the process, I had started a leadership school in Nigeria because I was wondering if this thing is such a huge need, where are the leadership schools? Where are people
Right.
learning leadership? So I started one anyway.
Right. Right.
So that's been the journey so far. After I completed my doctoral program, then I started my uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
consulting outfit. I I felt like criticizing leaders is one thing, but I'm not sure if criticizing someone actually gives them the skill to do what you're expecting them to do. So I
Right.
thought, why don't I work with the leaders? Right? Why don't I do coaching, right? Why don't I advise leaders on the leadership part of their job?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I am.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, one of your quotes is that the measure of a leader's success is contribution, not acquisition. That is a very powerful statement. Can you explain what that means in today's business environment?
Thank you very much. So, this comes from my background as someone who grew up in Africa. And it took a long time before I realized
Mm-hmm.
the power that your environment has on you
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that maybe the highest aspiration for the average person who's grown up in deprivation is what we call breakthrough, right? It's material success.
Mm-hmm.
In my own journey, I now discovered that many people who have achieved the material success are still searching for something. They're still searching for something. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
The need for the basic, the physiological needs first, food, drink, and then security and safety. And once you leave level two, all the other needs are intangible. The
Mm-hmm.
need for love and belonging, and then the need for respect. You get that from success.
Mm-hmm.
But self-actualization, a lot of successful people find it very difficult to negotiate that level because what got you to success won't get you to that self-actualization.
Right.
So when I speak to executives, I speak to CEOs, I commend them for the tremendous amount that they have invested in rising to the top of their careers. I say, however, you're still searching for something, right? You're still chasing something. And I say, it's self-actualization, it's fulfillment. It's you need to give your success a meaning,
Meaning, yeah.
right?
Legacy.
Legacy, it needs to have a purpose. And I say, the interesting thing is you now need to turn around
Mm-hmm.
that drive with which you chase success for yourself. You need to turn it around and use it to chase success for other people. So that's the only way you're going to negotiate this next level. And I know it is difficult, right? Because when you now really pay attention and you notice the massive gaps in people's lives, the hunger, the poverty, the ignorance, and so on, then you realize you literally need to throw yourself at everything, throw your success at everything. You need to sacrifice.
Yeah.
So I then say, look, you can't continue to focus on acquisition, to focus on yourself. Now you need to focus on other people
Right.
and prioritize impact,
Right.
prioritize adding value to other people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that real fulfillment comes from. Who
The,
is deriving any benefit from your success apart from you,
the
right?
humanity. Yeah.
And I say,
Mm-hmm.
interestingly, there's a generation coming after you. There are young people right now, because they usually executives find it difficult to know where to start. I say, look, just tell your stories. You are very likely to undervalue your story, the measure of your story.
Mm-hmm.
And you have no idea how much the younger generation needs hope first, and then practical strategies and tactics for dealing with real situations in life. Share your stories. Let's start from there. Write a book. Okay. And present, mentor somebody, coach someone, start from within your organization, reproduce yourself, and then think beyond your current position. So
Yes.
whether you leave that position willingly or unwillingly, you will leave it one day. In
Yep.
fact, you will leave this planet, right? And then what's going to happen, right? So you need to plant trees that your grandchildren will sit under, right?
Ooh, wow. That is brilliant. So, of course, you coach CEOs from all around the world. What separates truly transformational leaders from simply successful managers?
Mm, thank you. Amazingly, I'll say it's one word that we don't like to talk about that often in the boardroom, and it's the word love.
Mm. Hmm.
Having genuine care,
Yeah.
genuine empathy
Yeah.
for other human beings, really, really caring, recognizing value in other human beings. The human is the most valuable asset on this planet.
Hmm.
And you've got to see that value, you've got to recognize it, you've got to celebrate it,
Mm.
right? And of course, I quickly add, don't feel uncomfortable. I'm not talking about romantic love here,
No, no,
right?
no. Genuine love for humanity.
Right, exactly.
Hmm.
So when you generally, I tell leaders that when we love people, they love us back,
Hmm.
right? That's how we get loyalty. That's how we get them to the point where even they are willing to follow us,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So when a leader is able to get people to that point, people recognize this leader actually wants the best for me.
Hmm.
It's transformational. Then they want, like I said, to follow. Then they want the leader to succeed.
Right.
And that multiplies the productivity of whatever team or organization we are leading,
Hmm.
right? It's one of my mentors, said to me many years ago, he said, look, Sam, however much of a star you are as a footballer,
Mm.
someday they will take you off that pitch because you'll be too old and you'll be tired.
Mm.
He said, and if you are not careful, you will have to pay to enter the stadium where people paid to watch you play.
Yeah.
He said the only way you can continue to be relevant in the stadium is for you to become a coach. That was profound for me. It was
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
at some point, You just know you don't measure your success anymore by your own accomplishments, but by the accomplishments of the people following you. So we say that the purpose of leadership is not to raise followers, it is to raise leaders. It is reproduction. And for that to happen, you got to empower people. You've got to, the interesting thing is that the structures that are built around success in our world, are structures that feed and build your ego.
Yeah.
Right? So the higher you rise, the bigger everything becomes. You get the bigger title, the bigger office.
Mm-hmm.
Then they tell you your car does not befit your status, so you get the bigger car.
Mm-hmm.
Your neighborhood and your house don't befit your status, you get the bigger house, bigger everything until you get, and if you're not careful, you get the bigger head, right? And something begins to tell you subconsciously that there's something that is special about you that is not special about other people.
Right.
I talk to founders, CEOs, and they tell me some of their best hands who crush their goals are also very poor with people skills.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
They deliver the results, but they leave a lot of broken emotions in the wake of their success.
Yes.
And sometimes organizations lose a lot of talent that just walk away quietly
Mm-hmm.
because they can't do anything about the guys at the top, right? So um, the leader has got to be the person that is self-aware,
Yeah.
right? You are human just like everybody else. And I say that the hierarchical structure in an organization is not essentially destiny structure. In
Right.
other words, yeah, you may be my boss today, but who knows where we're going to be 5 years or 10 years from now.
Right.
And
Mm.
I believe leaders, if you have the opportunity of leading anyone or supervising them, I think you should just treat it as an opportunity to invest in the future you have no control over. The best thing is want the best for them and then share power with them, delegate to them, give them authority, and unleash their leadership potential.
Love that. Love that. Now, let's talk about this very exciting book that you have written called Shift. Can you walk us through each step?
Okay, thank you. So Shifts is a framework, a transformation framework.
Yes.
I wrote it because I've observed that most transformation efforts in our world fail at the individual, organizational, even national levels,
Mm-hmm.
right? Change happens really slowly in our world. Only God knows how many people made New Year resolutions at the beginning of this year. And the experts say that 90% of the resolutions have failed within the first 60 days. So the big question for me was, why?
Right.
Right? Why? And then I read something from King Solomon in Proverbs, and he said, keep your heart with all diligence. Out of it are the issues of life.
Mm-hmm.
So Pastor Rick Warren said, the heart of the matter is a matter of the heart. So I realized actually that the problem is programming.
Okay.
That heart, right, is actually our programming or our subconscious. So the experts say that when something becomes routinous in the conscious mind pushes it down to the subconscious mind, where it just goes automatic. So we say subconscious and it sounds abstract, but they say 96% of our decisions are actually influenced by the subconscious.
That's right.
So the reason why people would set a New Year goal or make a New Year resolution and then it will not work is because the new goal is not in alignment with the programming.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, Sometime last year, my wife and I decided to go eat at a restaurant. Now, the restaurant is right next to the shopping mall closest to our house here in Atlanta. We were going to the restaurant. And then we got engaged in this conversation. I was doing the driving, but the conversation, I was really enjoying it, right? So like we all do, I delegated the driving to the subconscious, right? It was when we got to the parking lot and I was about to pull into a slot that my wife and I turned to each other and asked, "What are we doing here?" I was at the parking lot of the shopping mall, not the parking lot of the restaurant. And I figure that's the question a lot of people are asking themselves in life. I think most people are not where they would rather be in life, right? And they don't realize it from our habits, from
Yes.
our programming. So shifts is a framework that I discovered about 3 decades ago, began to apply, and was amazed at how effective it has been. This is the basic principle that runs through it. Whatever you see and hear consistently over time will enter your heart and put your life on autopilot. So the whole book is about guiding us to be more intentional
Mm-hmm.
about what we see and hear consistently. So the S is for seeing, the H is for hearing, the I is for insight.
Mm.
I'm saying whatever it is you're seeing and hearing, take time to do some deep reflection. Then your mind will begin to connect the dots, connect between the cause and the effect. Maybe you read the story or you see something happen. Oh, it's because this person did this. That's why they got that. Now, I also want that, but I've not been doing what the person's been doing. Okay, so from now on, I begin to do what they want to do. The person says they read the book, they read one book a week. Okay, I'll begin to read the book a week. That takes us to the F. That's formulate,
Mm-hmm.
the point at which you make decisions. I believe that's where your life changes internally, right?
Mm-hmm.
The formulate, the T is the transform. When you take action on your decision, your life is transformed. You repeat that over and over and over, you succeed again and again and again. So the S is succeed, right? So that's the process, and in the book, the first 4 chapters of the book, I explain the principles.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 5 is on personal shifts, how
Mm-hmm.
to apply these principles personally. I have gotten phenomenal results and stories.
Mm-hmm.
I started by writing goals on plain sheets of paper,
Mm-hmm.
and I would stick them on the wall in my
Right.
bedroom where I could see
Yes.
them every day. I saw a magazine. I saw a picture in the magazine many years ago, back in Africa, right? It was that of a motivational speaker and his wife. Behind them was a crowd. They packed this Coliseum with 14,000 people. And I just tore the picture and stuck it on the wall in my bedroom. That's what I want to do someday,
Mm.
right? At some point, I wrote a check to myself from my checkbook and stuck it on the wall there. An amount of money I had not gotten before. On all of those things happened. All of them happened over and over again. So in the chapter on personal shifts, I tell those stories, I explain how to go about it. Then chapter 6 is on professional shifts. So I've applied them even on our teams.
Yes.
So the leader who's going to create sustainable change has to be able to shift people's mindsets and their beliefs and their values, has to be able to shift culture. Culture
Yes.
is collective programming. You've got
Yeah.
to be able to change the programming of a whole team or a whole organization. And I state how to do it and how we went about it, how I've applied it. And the last chapter is on global shifts. And there I explain how we can use the shift framework to transform whole nations.
Wow. That is phenomenal. So, um, you know, when we're looking at your work suggests that the mindset is often a bigger obstacle than resources. You touched upon it in our previous answer, but let's go a little deeper into that in regards to going from the conscious to the subconscious so that it flows out every day positively constructive next steps.
Thank you. So when the human mind experiences a new phenomena. Maybe we face a challenge. We try to create ideas about possible solutions. We test them. We find the one that works.
Mm-hmm.
Then we do that over and over and over. Or we learn something new, like driving,
Mm-hmm.
swimming. At first, it's difficult, right, to coordinate. But then after some time, we get used to it. We do it over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, it just goes in there. So I then ask, let's pay attention to the industries or the sectors that actually influence what we see and hear every day. Advertising, for example. So I ask people, have you found yourself humming the music of a commercial that you did not consciously memorize, right? Or just you find yourself singing a song and it's just because you've had it played over and over and over, you did not memorize it. I said, that's how powerful it is. It's the consistency, right? So the media is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
The news is powerful. I tell people, be careful of how much news you consume
Mm-hmm.
because they say in the media, good news is no news. Bad news is good news.
Mm.
When it comes, in fact, the news is meant to make you panic, right? And they repeat the same thing for 6 hours.
Yes.
The educational system, what do we do in the classroom? We see and hear every day. We see and hear every day. That's what we do. That's why the schools are so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, entertainment industry, the movies. So sometimes I break up English words to understand them better. So
Mm-hmm.
I say, when you break up information, what do you get? You get in and you get formation. I say, whether you are conscious of it or not, especially with social media, you think, oh, you're just scrolling, you're just watching, I say, it's shaping you.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
shaping the inside. So this is about cultivating daily habits,
Mm-hmm.
strongly encouraging reading, being intentional about what we read.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know your learning style. Some people do best with auditory learning, listening. Some are visual in nature. Just be on social media, especially. It's like on YouTube. YouTube is many universities in one. You can practically learn anything.
Yeah.
So now you be intentional about what you're watching, about what you're reading every day. Be intentional about your associations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the people closest to you, they are the ones you see and hear every day. They are shaping your life, right? You
Yes.
got to be
Yes.
intentional about your relationships. You know, this interesting one. When our daughter was in high school here in Georgia, uh, it was an international school, a boarding school, and they had a short break. So she asked permission to come home with her friend who came from Croatia.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, fine, that's good. So the young lady came and was speaking fluent English. So my wife asked the young lady, wait, you did your elementary school in Croatia. Did they teach you in English in Croatia? She said, no. So how did you learn to speak English? She said, oh, by watching American movies. Now that got my attention because that fit into my transformation framework, right? And then they said they wanted to go shopping, and we were taking them right to the Mall of Georgia. They said we should please pick one of their friends who was staying with another family.
Uh-huh.
That young lady came from Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
When she came into the car, she was speaking with pure American accent. So my wife asked her the same question. The young lady said, oh, by watching American movies. I said, what? Then from that day, I came to the conclusion Hollywood is more than entertainment, it's a programming system,
Wow.
right?
Dr. Sam, believe it or not, we are out of time. We're going to have you come back. How can someone get in touch with you to receive this excellent coaching, executive coaching that you do?
Thank you. As I just go on my website, samadeyemi.com, SAMADEYEMI.com.
Wow. Well, Dr. Sam, I want to thank you for coming on the program and sharing his phenomenal, exquisite wisdom about leadership. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't purchased his book, please get his book, Shifts, because it will help you to shift your life into a forward gear. Congratulations on Shifts. This is 6 steps to transform your mindset and elevate your leadership. It's been a privilege to have you on the show, Leadership with Darrell W. Gunter. I want everyone to be mindful that you can catch a rebroadcast of this interview on every podcast that's there, as well as YouTube. But remember, we want you to have a great week. But remember, leadership begins with you.